Hi guys, thanks for joining us and coming back for the second episode of the Fantasy Football Wrap-Up. I'm Donnie, here with Tyler and Scott.
What's up, guys? Guys, really appreciate you joining. You guys did awesome watching our first video. I think it was only up for like 4 or 5 hours. We up to like 30, 40 views really quickly. So guys, we really appreciate it. If you like this video, we'd love it if you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. We just do this because we're just some guys that like to talk fantasy football.
Yeah, we all have full-time jobs. This isn't trying to make a living or anything.
Yeah,
but,
we're just pretty excited about it.
But yeah, stay tuned. We do have a bunch of giveaways to give away. We have autographed jerseys, stuff like
autographed mini helmets. We'll go over that in the next video too. So, but keep an eye on that.
Check out the Facebook page. It'll be on the Facebook page.
Yeah, check out the Facebook page, and we'll do that. Donnie will hit you up on the. Donnie, what's the email again on this?
fantasyfootballwrapup@gmail.com.
Yeah, so hit us up. We got some questions actually we're gonna hit later on in the show that they emailed Donnie. So Donnie will go over those shortly here. So and we'll go over some more of the free stuff in the next video. I think.
Definitely.
So we can you guys get some cool stuff. Just dude, all you gotta do is like and subscribe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, feel free to
join the Facebook page.
Yeah. Fantasy Football Wrap Up. It's just a good time. That's all.
Easy.
So
to dive right into it, we're going to be talking about the AFC West today.
Yep.
Tyler, where do you see the Broncos going?
Tyler, what do you think on CJ?
I like CJ. I know you don't per se, but I think he could be good. I mean, he could pick up more receiving yards this year. They need somebody for Trevor Siemian to check down to.
Yeah.
Although Demarius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, we'll get to them, have had a lot better year than I thought they did.
Yeah, they have more targets, but with CJ, I tell you, he's such a tease, right? I think he's a good back. I think he can carry the load, for some reason.
He never gets 20 carries on average.
Since 2014, he's averaged under 20 carries a game.
Yeah.
I mean, he got hurt last year, but the 2 years before that, which I was kind of surprised on this, we did a thing earlier. Yeah. He started 15 games in 2 years prior to that and still didn't have 20 carries in a game. So I don't
he
think
does find the end zone,
back.
though. He does find the end zone.
Well, that's one reason why in standard PPR, he does get some catches too, so he will give you a little bit. It's just, I mean, he's never had 200 carries, so if you're looking for a solid forget about RB1. If you're looking for a stretch RB2, maybe, I just don't think he's there. But you know what? His ADP is like in the 7th round too.
Yeah,
7th, 8th round.
And it's one of those, if you want to wait on your number 2 running back, I don't
Right.
recommend waiting on your number 1 running back, but if you can wait on your number 2 and maybe a 10, 12 team league, he could be a decent option.
Or if you're in a league like ours, right, where we're wide receiver driven, where sometimes his ADP might be in the 7s, but in our league he might be 9 or 10. If you get an RB2 in 9 or 10, or even CJ, who should remain healthy, who should be the starter, because Booker couldn't carry that offense last year.
No, everyone thought he would. I picked him up and I thought he was going to be fine, and I was disappointed. 3, 4, 1.
He was pretty bad, and he had all the opportunity. They were actually giving the ball to the backup to him.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why CJ shouldn't get the bulk of the load. He just
agree with
hasn't,
that.
so he's a reach a little bit. But on that Broncos offense, they're not a fantasy superstar offense.
He might be a good guy if you take someone like Doug Martin, who's suspended for the first 4 games, kind of just play him for those first 4 weeks, maybe a 5th week to get back into
through.
A bye week fill-in, even in a standard league, a flex player. That's who I ultimately he is a flex player.
I think so too. Yeah. We got so the receivers there are pretty decent, right? So you got Sanders and Thomas, and we'll bounce on back and forth on those two because they had more carries. So Thomas had 144 targets. Sanders had 137. I thought Sanders would have more of the targets, but he does get a lot of those bubble screens. Talking about Demarius Thomas, so he does get a lot of possessions.
And another thing, guys, know your drafts, because this is a big thing about this. If your league goes all running backs early, you're gonna be able to pick some good value up in the 2nd, 3rd round at wide receiver, where those people are taking running backs.
Yeah.
So it all depends on how your draft is. Like
Demarius in the 4th for me is a really good bargain right there.
I love that.
I think that's probably even lower than where he should.
I'm going to jump for joy if I get him in the 4th. I'm in the beginning of the 4th, so I mean, there are a few people I like there, but if I can swing on Terrell Pryor and him, I'd be
he's
really,
solid
really
right there. He'll give you a decent.
He got 90 catches last year too.
Yeah,
so 90 catches, over 1,000 yards.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to win you the championship, but he's not going to cost you either.
No, I think he's a higher end wide receiver 3 if you play 3, maybe a low end number 2.
Now what you got to watch for both these guys, right, is the quarterback position. In camp again, they're battling it out. So Seaman obviously can't even hold the quarterback spot.
Yeah, and you don't know if Lynch comes in there, then
That
could be kind of devastating to him, actually, now you say that, because
it could hurt him. It could help him.
He has the repetition with Simeon last year. Now, if Paxton Lynch comes in, Who knows if he's just chucking balls downfield, if he's dumping off to the running backs, if he's
Right,
going,
if he's a check down
Emmanuel
guy.
Sanders might be better this year.
Right.
But
If he's a check down guy, then Thomas would be your better guy in the bubble screens and the short slants.
I mean, a lot of mock drafts I've done too, Sanders does fall. I mean, you get him
He
in
does.
the 6th or 7th round in some of
It's
these
good
mock
value,
drafts,
yeah.
and it's really good value.
He
there.
does have upside because if Paxton Lynch can take that job and he's better than Simeon was last year, then they're only a quarter. If you put Drew Brees in that offense, both these guys are probably a second round.
There's no question. I mean,
You know what I mean?
look
The
at what
problem is
Manning
their
did.
quarterback is holding them back.
Yeah.
So you're going to watch what that develops in camp. So just kind of keep an eye on that.
You know, because Sanders did have 1,000 yards as well last year.
Yeah,
Less
yeah.
catches. He only had
Surprisingly.
79 catches, but
Yeah.
he had 1,000 yards, and you know,
Yeah.
they both had 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
mean, if you get 5 touchdowns and 1,000 yards in a standard league, I mean, you're pretty happy if you got that in the 6th round.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that your flex players again. So don't be drafting these guys. Well, you ain't drafting Sanders in the 2nd or 3rd round, that's
No,
for sure. But in
but-
the 3rd round or even 4th round, I like other guys better there in the 4th, but that's probably where he should go.
Exactly.
And if you get Thomas there in the 4th round, I think that's okay. I think your fantasy team will be fine with that. Just keep
Yeah.
an eye on that quarterback thing. That's a big thing with them.
And Demaryius Thomas also a big name too, and I'm a big fan
Right.
of drafting people to trade at value. So if
Right.
I get somebody at a good value that I know other people in the league like, again, know your league,
Right.
then I would do that to flip him because then I know I can fill my running back hole or I
Yeah.
can fill something like that.
You might be able to get an average back later on.
You know, in our league, quarterbacks are so hard to get. For some reason, every other position gets traded, but quarterbacks don't.
Yeah.
And you know, you need to get a big name and add a bench quarterback in
Right.
to get somebody. Is how he did
Right.
it last year.
Right.
But
You might be able to take, like, later on, like, maybe you take a Derek Carr late, and maybe you
Yeah.
package him with Thomas, and maybe go get yourself a Cousins or
yeah,
Mariota or
someone like that you really want
right.
as
or even
your
Ryan.
guy.
Ryan was traded in our league last year after being picked up off the free agency. So
Yeah, I
there
think
are
he-
names. A few. I think he was really the only one.
Yeah.
After that, it's bottom of the barrel quarterbacks. Well, I shouldn't say bottom of the barrel, but bottom of the round quarterbacks that get traded. The top guys, the Brady's, the Rodgers,
Yeah,
the
they're
Breezes,
not
They don't
moving.
move.
I had a chance to trade Breeze last year and I couldn't do it. I
Yeah.
had a good offer on the table. I just
Right.
couldn't do it.
Right. Yeah. Now the defense, that's a different story, right?
Yeah, it's
So that defense is.
the most valuable part, fantasy-wise, of the
Yeah.
whole team.
I agree with that, Donnie. Because I mean, they're a lock.
Yeah, I don't know if
They're-
you guys' leagues do return yards too. Like our league is a return-based yard, so
Right.
your special teams does account. So if you
Right.
get every 15 yards is a point for the player, and
Right.
they get the touchdowns on the defense.
Yeah,
so,
which isn't going to help Denver all that much. That's much better.
No,
for,
yeah.
we talk about KC, but you
Yeah.
know, Denver, they get the sacks, they get the turnovers.
Yeah, the fumble recoveries.
yeah, it's a- what is it?
City. Let's jump
Yeah.
right into Kansas City, I think.
Yeah.
And start with our main man again. I feel like we're starting with teams and their quarterbacks because just to kind of keep it going here. And again, we got another
Yeah.
quarterback in Alex Smith that probably shouldn't. I mean, he's not even in our top 20.
All right, I'll
You know.
take Alex Smith over Simeon. I'll say that. I will take
Yeah,
him
I
over
guess.
Simeon.
I mean, you're talking.
But I don't wanna be
deep
in that
teams,
position.
12, 14 teams, maybe, or 2 quarterback ones.
See, I actually like
Maybe.
Alex Smith in a 2-quarterback league, to be
Maybe.
honest. Because, he does present good value. He does,
Yeah.
people that have owned him or had to spot start him, he does have weeks where he will throw for 300 yards.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's just the
rare.
next week he'll
Yeah.
throw for 100. And
Right.
then,
Yeah.
and then
Right,
he gets
and,
screwed.
and a touchdown or no touchdowns.
Yeah, but if
He's
you're,
just
in
a
a,
game
if you're in a
manager,
2-quarterback
so-
league and he's your number 2, let's say you got Brady early and you got him.
Right.
I mean, at least Brady's going to score enough points for
Right.
you where it doesn't really matter at that
Right.
point.
Right.
As
I
a-
guess. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
lose Macklin, I mean,
You're
let's be
talking
honest with you, to
sleepers.
be honest with you, it's probably Kelsey that's going to see the most upgrade. I know
Yeah, I
Hill-
think so.
Hill's going to be what Hill is. He's going to be that.
Well, I think Hill's going to make a difference on your league, and again, know your league. So for our league, we have return yards. So Hill is much more valuable in our league because we
Yeah.
have return yards. So he gets return yards, return touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, he's
a
a
monster.
trifecta right
He's
there.
a monster. So
I mean,
in ours, his ADP is probably between 2nd to 4th round,
yeah,
and in other leagues, he might be probably
6 or 7.
yeah, he's probably
just
between
because-
5 and 7.
Yeah.
So you just know that. Now they did drop Macklin, so make sure you know these kind of things.
Yeah, they
so that
just
should
like
help.
the Saints though, they did lose 200 targets in the offseason this year in KC, so that's going to be spread out between these guys somewhere. Kelsey, I think personally is going to get most of those,
Right.
just because anytime you see a big play or something,
gonna
it's
get a
always
ton.
Kelsey.
It is. Well, you got to
And
remember
that's
two guys.
Smith's guy.
I mean, everybody calls him like Baby Gronk. I think that's a ridiculous. He's not Gronk. The only difference is he does stay healthy and
He
Gronk does
does.
not.
Yeah.
Right? So you ain't seeing Kels go in the first round, but in ours,
Yeah.
his ADP is probably between 3 and 5, which
Yeah.
is a little risky for me. I'm like Tyler. I don't believe in drafting a tight end in the third
I
round.
know it's
Uh,
hard. I
I'll
mean,
tell you now, it ain't happened. When we do our draft recap, you'll see where I
yeah, you'll
draft
see
him.
our tight end
The third
might
round's
be
not gonna
last
be
pick
Travis
on the
Kelce.
board.
Right, but that's not to say he's not a great talent. He always stays healthy, so health is number one. You're going to get your guy for 16 games.
Yep.
they dropped Macklin, so they have Hill and Kels. And he's going to go to Kels first. And that's another thing. The quarterback loves to go to that tight end. He doesn't like to throw it, unlike other Cam Newton teams.
We kept Greg Olsen all year. I trade for him after one big game, and he does nothing the rest of the year.
But Smith does love to go to him. He's going to be on the thing. He's always healthy.
Yeah.
You know, how many games did he play, Donnie?
Kelsey, 16.
16.
Yeah, all 16.
And I think he's like that the past couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, all the people out there that are Jordan Reed lovers, I would definitely go Kelsey over him, my opinion.
All day.
You know what Jordan Reed, he is such a freak, like, size-wise,
talented, all that, but he's not healthy.
Everything.
He's another one that's not healthy.
Week 1, I can guarantee this pretty much, that he's going to have a high ankle sprain at some point in this preseason.
Yeah.
And he'll be questionable in week 1, and you're going to see that Q next to his name every week.
Yep.
And when you read the reports as questionable, because they don't have probable anymore, which is really irritating for fantasy football.
Absolutely.
But...
he's a risk every year. Now, he's going to go for long stretches where he's going to be, ACL, like, maybe a Gronk or something.
No, but he's going
to get these little 2, 3, 4 games.
Hamstrings. He's famous for hamstrings.
Yeah, so just watch out for him. I mean, but, so I think Kelson Hill, the best two on that team. Amazing. Two guys that we have in our drafts, again, they're ranked 3 to 5 on their ADP on an offense that isn't even good.
Yeah. And if you're looking to wait on another running back, Spencer Ware, I know at some point, my personal opinion is he's going to lose the job to Hunt. I think Hunt's going to take over that.
Yeah. I mean, he almost lost the job to West last year.
But Spencer Ware last year, I know production is a lot like Jay, big games, big plays.
I don't even say that.
No, but he didn't score that much. But it was like 1,300 yards he scored total yards in receiving, 900 rushing, 400 receiving.
If it's PPR, he might be a little bit better for you because he did have what?
But again, you're getting
catches.
33 catches. So
again, you're getting him in the 6th or 7th round. Yeah. So I mean, it's just he falls into the CJ Anderson.
You are getting him in that range.
Well, I'm telling you what ADP says. He won't be on my team. So I'm taking 2 running backs right away. That's
if it was up to me, I could get him on the free agency.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't know of a guy that was in more trades last year that people were just trying to take him and dump him for something. But that defense is good too, so like we talked about earlier, that's a great... In our leagues,
you're going to score because they were number 2 defense
number 2,
right?
Yeah, between picks and return yards help them get that much better.
Yeah. But then again...
In real life, they're not as good, but
and
fantasy-wise, they're really good.
Moving on to the next team.
Yep. The Raiders, right?
The Raiders.
The Raiders. So this wonderful AFC West. So I know a lot of people are high on Raider players, and I'm high. I like the receivers. I think Cooper is okay. I like Crabtree, but let's start with Carr, the quarterback.
One of the most misguided players. He had 5 games.
Overrated.
5 games where he scored, what was it?
5 under 200.
Yeah,
6 games under 221.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
But he had the 500-yard game, which made up for it.
Right.
So he gets all his points in 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, he had.
And after that,
I think it was 4 or 5 games where he was over 300 yards.
Yeah, something like that.
He has games where you'll be like, oh my god, this is amazing, and then he's gonna have other games. Like go look at the Denver games, $179, $199, 200 against Baltimore.
It's insane.
He's not as good as you think he is.
And as much as I'm not a big Marshawn Lynch guy, they just added a running back that's gonna take touchdowns away at the goal line. Because that's why you bring him in, is to give him the ball at the one inside the goal line.
Which they've already said he's going to do.
Yeah, so there goes the Michael Crabtree fade passes to all the people that love him.
Yeah, or the Homestead receiver, because they'll do a double covered. But what's amazing, though, is we all think he's overrated, and the next 2 guys, I think, are pretty high on the ADP. We talk about Cooper and Crabtree. A lot of people got Cooper rated higher.
He's another mirage, though. He's either there or he's not.
You're talking, absolutely.
3 touchdowns out of his 5 in 1 game.
In 1 game, yeah.
In 2 games, he scored 4 of his.
Right. So you're talking. We play. So we don't play week 17. So we got 16 weeks. Then there's a bye week. So you get in our league, you got a player for 15 weeks.
Yep.
And 1 game he had 3.
Yep.
So that means for 12 weeks he got you 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That is unacceptable.
1 every 6 games
to me. But people will like him. He did score high in our league. He does get a lot of catches.
Yeah.
I know.
How many targets did he have, Donnie?
Cooper?
Yeah.
$132.
So it is a lot.
There,
but I think people think he's better than really what he is. Our IDP probably has him in about the 3rd round. I like him even after that.
Yeah.
But I do like Crabtree. I think Crabtree's the bigger touchdown possession guy. End of the game. It seems like, and I had Crabtree last year for a while. He was pretty solid for me. But again, You know,
Yeah,
it's all a little
it's
bit
going to be
overrated.
a preference. I mean, if you want to reach on somebody, I guess,
Right.
then go ahead.
You better watch the matchup.
He's
Do
going
not
great.
play. Look at his stats against Denver and Kansas City, guys. Don't play him against those 4 teams.
No.
If you want to get him in, like maybe let's say a Big Ben or a Dak Prescott, and only play Carr on a non-division team.
He's fine on the road
Right.
if it's not against a division team.
Yeah, or even at home against a non-division team.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
just
what I mean? Like,
against
don't start
Kansas
him in
City in
Mexico
our
against.
league.
Don't start him against the Patriots in Mexico.
No.
And don't start him against Denver's twice or KC's twice, home or road.
Yeah.
Right? You got to move on. Any good, solid defensive team that gives people trouble, you can't start him. He's not that guy.
No.
You know, and a lot of people think he is.
But, in the games that he's not in the division, he's going to get you the 500
He
yards.
could. So if you
that's
play
when
him right,
start
he could really benefit your team.
But I like what you said with the Roethlisberger, because he's one of my favorite upside quarterbacks,
Right.
because when you play him when he's at home,
Right, you play him only at home.
he's a top 3 quarterback when he's at home, or top 4 quarterback when he's at home.
And Johnny had both these guys last year.
Yeah, he did.
And Prescott. That's why I mentioned him. They're all 3 on his team. And he just kind of played them. Ben at home is electric, and on the road he's not.
I feel like he doesn't even play.
Yeah.
I feel like he doesn't even
Against
play.
Cleveland, he
So-
scored like 7 points last year in our
And
league.
you have a couple of quarterbacks, especially if you're a 2-quarterback league, and you might carry 3. Then you can have a few of those guys and just stream them and play them correctly. Play them. Like you said, Big Ben on the road. I mean, Big Ben at home, and Carr against non-division. Maybe he gets to play Cleveland. Well, he will light them up.
Oh, he will.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just now maybe he takes the next step. I drafted him last year thinking he was going to take that step and left Drew Brees on the board, and boy, that came back and really hurt me.
Yeah,
So just be careful with him.
And the thing with Crabtree, I know a lot of people watching this are probably, well, he scored the same amount of touchdowns as Cooper.
Right.
But what you don't understand is you're getting Crabtree like 5 rounds later.
Right.
So that's the difference there.
Yeah,
I'm fine with my
after.
Well, I'm
Well,
fine with
it could
my flex player in the 6th round getting me 5 touchdowns versus my second pick in the draft in a 12-team league. I've seen him go in the first.
Right.
And it's kind of one of those things.
Right.
That,
Well, no, Crabtree didn't have 5 touchdowns. He had 8.
Oh, you had 8?
Yeah, he had 8.
Oh, my bad. So, yeah, I would rather even just have 8 touchdowns.
More targets, more touchdowns.
Yeah. He had less catches, so it balances it out.
Yeah.
In our league, Crabtree has less deep balls, so in ours, again, we have a 40-point bonus. I mean, a bonus for catching a ball over 40 yards.
Yeah, you get a 1 point.
And Cooper gets a lot of those.
Yeah, he does.
Right, so that's why he
scored more, is because he had more of those.
In our league,
catches.
Cooper did 251 and Crabtree was 244. They're really the same.
Yeah.
Crabtree just gets no love.
But again, if you can
just watch out for those guys.
It's one of those things that you should put into your philosophy, maybe think about it, don't change your philosophy. But if you can get a guy 5 or 6 rounds later that's scoring 4 more or 5 more less points than
or even
the other
3
guy.
rounds later.
Yeah, so why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't waste the pick unless you want to trade Cooper, because that's the only reason why he'd be on my team.
Right.
He won't even be there. I can tell you that.
Right.
'Cause he's
And I can't go Gronk in the second to trade and Cooper in the second to trade.
No,
because
then if nobody wants to trade, then you're screwed.
Yeah, then you're screwed. So just watch out for that. And we don't really like the Raider defense. I think they're just not good enough for that.
They're up and coming.
Maybe
in
this
a
year
couple
they'll take
years,
a step, but right now it's you're probably better to stream a defense and play the matchups. So that's all we got on the Raiders. I don't think they don't have a Clyde
unless you
Wolford.
want a couple sleepers. I like Jared Cook a little bit, the tight end they picked up.
Yeah, because Clyde Wolford is really relevant.
And Jared Cook's a big body guy.
They got Holmes there as a third receiver who
love Holmes. He was
he'll
pretty
sneak
big
you in
last
something.
year.
He's the one that caught the big touchdown pass last year in the
60
overtime
yarder,
game when Carr threw for 500 against Tampa Bay. I think it was.
I think he had 2 or 3 touchdowns in that game.
He might
Holmes
have,
was big
but
in
he'll
that
sneak
game.
you something. So if you need a bye week fill in, keep an eye for Holmes and the Raiders.
And a guy, if you take Marshawn Lynch, take Richard, because he's their pass catching back. So
if you're a PPR league,
if you're a
absolutely.
PPR guy, he's going to give you he's going to get 3 or 4 or 5, 6, maybe even 7 targets in a game.
Right. And the Raiders love to use those backs. And last year when
They
they had
do.
Murray, I had Murray, and I kept getting mad. Murray would get him down to the goal line,
And then they go on and use Richard.
And I'm like, and he gets 3 carries, and I'm like, oh, what the?
Yeah. So I mean,
so that's what we got for the Raiders. If you guys have anything different.
yeah, just feel free to comment or go on the Facebook page. Let us know. Email
Yeah.
us, message us directly. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll answer all your stuff. We're on it every day.
Yeah,
so.
subscribe again. We can't thank you enough for all that he does on the first video. So we hope this one goes as well. We'll try to keep them a little shorter. They ain't always going to go to 40, 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah, like this should be about 25 minutes.
Yeah, this will be much better shorter for you. So we're super excited.
But thanks again, guys.
Yep. So what do you got for the Chargers over there, Donnie? Who's we got our boy Phillip Rivers there? What do you think?
Yeah, he's probably the best out of the pack statistically.
I agree with that.
That's crazy. You think Carr is, right?
Yeah, I mean, but you know what's ridiculous is Carr's going to get drafted before him, and he's going to score more fantasy points.
Yeah, and for those of you that do fantasy groups and you don't do ours, hope you join. But if you do fantasy groups, I bet if you ask the question, who's better, Carr or Rivers?
Oh, you're going to get laughed at. Like, they'll tell you you're an idiot, but when you look at the numbers, he threw for 4,300 yards and 33 touchdowns.
86, almost 4,400 yards.
And they just added a number one wide receiver at the third or fourth pick.
4,400 yards, guys, right? And he lost his number one receiver in Keenan Allen, which happens every year, right? And so he was playing with Tyrell Williams, which nobody even knew who he was last year.
Dontrell Inman.
And Dontrell Inman and the kid they got from Cleveland, too.
Oh, Travis Benjamin.
I mean, we're talking a bunch of 3 receivers, although Williams actually turned out to have a really good year. I think he had 119 targets, 69 catches. So he actually had a really good year. I actually picked him up. I think your girlfriend picked him up.
Yeah, a couple
times. We did a trade, so he was pretty solid, unless he was playing Denver.
Another guy to watch though on the Chargers is Antonio Gates. Surprisingly, he almost double the targets than Hunter Henry.
Gates had 93.
Right? 93 targets,
Henry
and nobody would have thought that. I know injury is probably why that happened.
Right, because Henry got hurt for a while.
But if you want a guy that you need to throw in, maybe you wanted a flex player for a bye week, just throw him in there. He might get you a touchdown or two. In the red zone, he is actually last year was the most targeted guy in the red zone on that team.
Yeah, so and again, you got another quarterback in Phillip Rivers who is undervalued, who loves the throw to the tight end. Loves it.
I know actually all 3 of us do this. We wait on quarterbacks. And if you wait on a quarterback, Phillip Rivers, he's one of the best ones to wait on because you can get him off the free agent wire.
Yeah, otherwise, or it could be around 11,
You're
12,
going to see
13,
people take
14.
someone, if you're in like a 12-team league or a 14, Dalton's going to go before him. Like this is
sometimes
It's one of those
they're going to look at his stats, right? He had 21 picks last year, and that's not good in anybody's
No, it's not
league,
good in leagues, but he
which is why he wasn't high.
TDs.
Right, but guys, he's getting, Keenan Allen back.
Yep.
Right?
Mike Williams.
Which I'm sure he's going to get hurt. We got Mike Williams, we haven't even touched on yet, which we'll get on him in a minute. And then you still got all the guys he threw 4,200. So he threw almost 4,400 yards to everybody
and
else and added those 2 more.
Potential 1,000-yard guys.
Right. So, I mean, not that he's going to throw for 6,400 yards, but...
no, obviously not. I mean, he'd be the first pick in the draft.
If Keenan Allen stays healthy, there's no reason why he doesn't throw 5,000.
Yeah, well, I could see him just, even if he repeats last year, if you get him like in the 15th round, I mean, you can find your quarterback 1 because he finished in that area.
Yeah. So really a question for me out of those receivers, because Keenan Allen I think is a pretty high, I think he's a top 6
I mean,
rounds.
if Keenan Allen a couple years ago, you guys remember anyone that had him when he had that heart issue, I think it was.
Yeah, last year he caught 6 balls for 63 yards.
The year before, he was the number 1 receiver in fantasy when he got hurt.
Right, in our league anyway.
And at halftime, I was playing against him.
15 catches.
Yeah, 15 catches at halftime.
He had like a $153 or something like that. It was. He was a
like
monster
30
that
points
year.
and he played the second half.
Right, but the problem is he doesn't play 12 games, get hurt for 2, and then come back.
He's been hurt every year. So
he has massive injuries. He goes for the year.
Yeah.
Like when he gets hurt, he's gone for the year. He doesn't have a high ankle sprain. He doesn't stub his toe. You know what I mean? He's a massive one. But when he's on the field, if you look at Phillip Rivers' efficiency, he goes to over a 70% completion percentage when Keenan Allen is on the field, and when he's not, he's under 60.
Oh, definitely.
That is, I can't even tell you how big of a number that is. That's the difference of him throwing 4,300 yards and 20. And what do you have, 33 touchdowns.
Well, his interceptions going to go down. That's what I see. I think his interceptions
That's the difference
go
of
down.
him throwing 41 touchdowns and 15 picks.
Yeah, because his interceptions, his efficiency is going to go up.
Right.
So he's going to be better efficiency.
Yeah.
And then his interception should, go down a little bit.
What do you think of Mike Williams?
I wasn't high on the pick because of I love Tyrell Williams. He's actually one of my sleepers. I actually think he's going to start the season as the number 2.
I think so too.
Because Mike Williams hasn't gone on the field yet, but the upside of Mike Williams, I think this is
really
a move.
good.
I think this move is because I think they're moving on from Keenan Allen.
I think so too.
I think that's why they do
If
this.
he's not healthy, I mean, I don't think they're going to cut him.
Yeah, maybe trade him for
maybe
a
trade
draft
him,
pick
and then
or
we'll see how he
something
goes
like
this year. If he gets hurt again, you got to look for. I mean, I don't know
if
what
you're
his
in a
contract
dynasty
situation
mode,
is,
though, if you're in a dynasty league, I would definitely try to trade Keenan Allen and honestly try to get Mike Williams for him in a way, because Mike Williams is going to be the number 1 guy. You don't get drafted, 4th or 5th?
And it's similar to what we do with like we talked about in the first video with Gronkowski. Let him have a couple of games. Don't wait long, because he doesn't play 12 games and then gets hurt.
I mean,
it's 1 game, 6 games. I think the 6 or 7 games the year before. So as soon as he has 1 or 2 games where he gets 10 catches, 150 yards,
you're all gonna
will.
Yep.
I mean, you really want to say, okay, let's take him now. If you're in Dynasty, like Tyler said, maybe maybe try to get a younger guy. Him, maybe Corey Davis in Tennessee, although I think I like Mike Williams a little better.
Yeah, I like Williams.
Just because of the quarterback there, they like to throw the ball. I think he's in a good spot there. I don't know how good he'll be. Doesn't get he did get great separation in college. But he's got a good hand. He's got massive hands. He's got a good catch radius.
Yeah, he's a big
He goes
guy.
up and fights for the ball.
He's like 6'6" or something like that, right?
I think he's like 6'4".
6'3",
Yeah,
or
he's a
something.
little
I thought he was
smaller.
bigger than that.
No,
he just looks
but
huge
he's
when he's
tall.
playing for Clemson against
He's
Alabama,
big.
jumping over
He's got a high
everyone.
vertical. So I mean, I think he's going to get balls. But again, I think he's going to be the 3 receiver. I think Tyrell Williams would be the 2.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen will get the opportunity to be the 1. As soon as Keenan Allen goes down, guys, jump all over Tyrell Williams and just don't play him against Denver. It's the only team he doesn't play well against.
Yeah.
Don't worry about him against Kansas City.
He does play. He torched them. He got a couple big touchdowns
Yep.
on that.
And God forbid it's non-division. He torched Miami for a big game.
Yep.
So it's just Denver that Tyrell Williams struggles. And you can get this guy, I
He's
know
like- let's
I know
put it
he's
this
number
way.
2, but he's almost a sleeper because not a lot of people
he
know
is
who
a
he
sleeper because he's not even going to get drafted in a lot of these leagues. Honestly.
He might not because people are going to look at Mike Williams and they're going to look at Keenan Allen. So you can get this guy. If he does get drafted probably after round 13.
Yeah, and I even like him in Dynasty as well because I mean
he's another
if
young
you look
guy.
a couple
He's not old.
Yeah, he was a rookie last year.
Right,
so.
and he's healthy. He played every game. So
he had
it's-
1,000
I think he played
something
every game.
yards last
Yeah,
year.
16. Yeah. He
Yeah,
had
1,059 and 7 touchdowns.
I mean, talk about now that he
His
was
catch
the one,
efficiency is another thing to talk about. It
Right.
wasn't very good.
right?
But
He has efficiency, but I think that was more of Rivers had nothing.
only him. That
It
was
was
all.
only
it
him,
was.
and he does a lot of deep balls, right? So he gets a lot of those opportunities, and I think it's Rivers just chucking it up there into double coverage. So his efficiency can get a lot better.
These
But
people right here
he's
are
a
why
really
I
good
like
sleeper.
Melvin Gordon. That's what it is. These
Oh,
people
yeah.
right here are why I like Melvin
I
Gordon.
mean,
because
Keenan Allen's healthy. I mean, that's really
you
going to
can't
open
put
everything
you
up. You
can't
can't
put
put
him
9 in the box.
You can't do it. So you're gonna have to play base defense. Zone with
Yeah.
man on the corner, some combination of something. But you're
Yeah.
not. You're not gonna get.
With San Diego's offense, the biggest thing with them is they got a great fantasy offense, similar like Green Bay, Saints.
They're
stuff
always
like that.
losing. That's
Yeah,
the
they're always
best part.
losing.
They're
That's a
always
big thing,
losing.
guys. When you want an offensive player, you want him probably on a team that's losing, unless he's your Odell Beckham,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
But after you get past those guys, like you said, I mean, that's why you.
DeAndre Hopkins for me was garbage time. My
Right.
fantasy team name at one point was garbage time because
Right.
he was getting me nothing
Right.
2 years ago, and then here comes the fourth quarter. They're down by 30. He catches
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's
doesn't
a lot of
matter how you
garbage
get the
time.
points.
Jarvis Landry's another guy like
He
that,
is.
and there's a whole bunch of them that get garbage time yard,
Yep.
and there's nothing wrong with
There
that. Guys,
isn't.
points are points.
Points are points.
But
at
that's
the end of the
it's
day.
a good offense for fantasy players. You just got to watch out where it's San Diego to make sure they're healthy players.
Yeah.
Don't gamble on Keenan Allen in the 3rd round.
Yeah, that's
and,
too
and
early.
expect him to only play 5 games because he hasn't played a full season. So
Yeah.
you got to watch for that. You don't want to waste a second, third, and God forbid you have a gambling go even higher than
You know
the
what you
third.
do is if somebody takes Keenan Allen in the 3rd, in like the 9th or 10th, take Tyrell Williams so they
Check
can't
out the
handcuff him.
email. see
Oh,
what
that's
we got
right.
Yeah, we
going
got
on.
email
Email us,
questions
guys.
for you
Guys, so
guys.
email us fantasy football wrap up at Gmail. We'll do your questions on the show live here. So what do you got for
From
questions?
Mo in Dallas. And it might be an obvious question, but do you still draft Ezekiel Elliott as a top 3 pick? Or has his stock fallen due to the latest reports of, say, domestic abuse, the bar altercations,
Yeah,
and the
to
layest
me,
one of a
he's-
speeding ticket?
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
falling to me. I know that he scares the heck out of me.
he scares me too. I mean, but I'd be lying to you if I said I wouldn't take him at 9 if he fell to me. Because
To me, it depends on the suspension. I mean, we're talking one probably for 1 or 2, like we talked about in the other video.
I honestly
woman.
think he ends up with 2. I think that's still with all this I think that just solidified they're giving him 2. I think that's
Maybe.
what this just did.
It could be
Because
and to me, if he's
Is there
at
a video
2,
out of it yet?
no, not yet.
Alright, I didn't know because someone told me there was.
Not that
I
I've
didn't
seen. I'm
believe
sure
it.
TMZ will be on that.
Well, someone said TMZ leaked one, but I just seen that they leaked they got somebody eyewitness or something saying that they saw it happen.
Okay.
But yeah, he definitely broke someone's nose, is what the report says.
Oh, in the bar, right?
In the
he's had-
bar,
So,
I mean-
right. So he's had the abusing the women, which we thought he was going to get 1 or 2 games to begin with.
And
Now
then he
he's
pulled
got
the
bar
girl's
fight.
shirt down. No one remembers that.
Yeah,
Pulled her
he
shirt
pulled
down.
that shirt
Yeah.
down, and then he got the bar fight.
Yeah.
A couple days ago that came
Yeah.
out, and then today it came out. He got a $100 speeding ticket.
Yeah,
You've seen.
or he's
100 miles
appealing
an
it.
hour.
100 mile per
Yeah.
hour speeding ticket. And he's
Yeah,
fighting a
70,
misdemeanor
yeah.
conviction. So it's
Things are piling up.
for me, if I drafted him, even if he only gets suspended for 2 games, I'm worried what comes next. I'm worried week 11, all of a sudden it comes out that maybe he hit someone, or he got a DUI, and now he's suspended for 4 games, and I missed part of my playoffs.
Yeah, but the thing for me with him is, if you're the league, you have to hit him right now because you have to tell this kid this isn't okay.
Right.
Because, like you said, this could go down the Greg Hardy road, and I know that's dramatic, but this is where that could end up. I mean, if he's already got that stuff.
Think about how much stuff that probably hasn't come out yet that we don't even, you know what I mean?
Look at Brandon Marshall. Yeah. He's a perfect example.
Right.
They made a point in him when he was going through. They made him go to the rehabs and stuff.
Yeah.
So he did it.
He's also bipolar, so he got help out in Massachusetts up here.
Yeah, he did.
For that.
But no, he changed his entire career around.
He did.
And he's one of the most liked guys now in the league.
He is, yeah.
He's got that show on NFL. Is it Network?
I think it's Showtime.
Showtime.
Yeah, Showtime NFL Network. It's the same company. So, but yeah, no, that's a good comparison there. I mean, it would suck to see Elliott be taken out and do something to harm his career because he's such a good player. So you're at 3. You're drafting him right there.
No, I'm not drafting him at 3. There's no possible way. Antonio Brown is way safer.
You pick, you will.
At 9, I would because I mean,
so where do you put him? So let's say, because we don't know what the suspensions are.
6 to 9. I think in that range because when you look at who you're getting Mike Evans, who he's great, but there is question marks. But at the end of the year, he's
going to get a lot more.
He's going to get a lot more for you, even missing the 2 games. If it's only 2 games and he does what he did last year, even a little bit less, he's still going to outscore.
Even if
he missed a game last year, ran for 1,600 yards.
Right.
So he didn't play week 7. He didn't play week 17.
One of the last ones.
Yeah,
he did.
Week 17
No.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's interesting. I don't know. I'm worried. If I'm at 3 at a position where there's some really good backs
I'm
right
with
there.
you at 3. I just say, you know what, Antonio Brown looks really good right here because
I know
what I'm
Antonio
getting.
Brown guy, Martavius there. I think he blows up this year, so I probably go Antonio Brown right there, just because if he's gonna get a 2-game suspension for let's just say for all of it, I don't know what's coming up next.
Yeah,
I'm afraid because every week it seems something. And now that stuff starts coming out, this one's reporting this, that one's reporting that. I guess that's not gonna stop.
No, and there's honestly on that team, there's already reports of Prescott getting upset and saying stuff in the media about Elliott, how he's not there in the training, the workouts and stuff. And it appears to me, with the way it was said, is that he's not doing enough to help the team off the field.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just becoming a distraction.
Right.
You don't want that to happen because
he's
such a good talent. He is so talented, too.
He is.
And he's one of the most exciting players to watch.
Yeah. That's interesting. We'll have to see how that plays out. We'll follow up in another week or so.
Yeah, but Brian and Nick, thanks for the questions. Keep them coming. We'll answer them every week.
Yeah, that's all we got for tonight, guys. Thanks for the questions, like you said. Donna, where can they find us?
They can find us on Facebook. Fantasy Football Wrap Up. Remember, all capitals.
All the words of capitals.
All the words of capitals, and you'll see on the screen here. Just jump on there. It's just a fantasy group.
If you go on YouTube,
we'll respond to you personally.
If you know how to use YouTube, and you guys do, most of you do that are on here, you can hit the little arrow and it brings a link up. I'm pretty sure for our Facebook. You can click right there, or touch with your finger on your phone. And
correct.
And it'll go right to it.
Like a lot of these groups, and all these groups are really good. They all do a great purpose. A lot of people, you get a lot of good feedback and stuff like that. With ours, it's a little more personal. We're going to personally comment back to you. So if you guys have questions, you'll see Tyler, Donnie, Scott jump right in there.
Yeah, feel free to friend request us personally.
Yeah, we've had some great fans up in the areas already, up in Buffalo and a few other areas. We've just jumped on, shoot the shit.
Yeah, it's just something we like to do. We like really fantasy football. So it's
like our video, subscribe, scroll to the bottom of the page if you want to comment, email us, fantasy Facebook.
Stay tuned for the awards that we're giving away.
Right.
So.
We'll be back with another video in a couple days on the NFC West.
Yep.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining.